tonight is about listening to young people. We the 33 has always been one of my favourite things about Creative Youth Network. So what is We the 33? Well, 33% of Bristol's population is under the age of 25, but we know that they get way less than their fair share of the public debate airtime and decision-making authority. So tonight's event is part of how we try to put that right.
Hi, I'm Dan. I use he and they pronouns, and I first started coming out when I was 13. It's taken a long time to get here, and I've been through a lot of different experiences and identities. Since I first came out in year 8, I've had a lot of experience with how the school system treats trans and queer students. We had an LGBT group at my school, but people also threw trash at my friend group for being gay with no repercussions.
Discovering and coming to terms with my gender and sexuality was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And our school's education system played no part in this. I spent years telling myself how weird I was, how I didn't fit in. It wasn't until year 8 I first heard the term bisexual. That night I discovered there was more than gay and straight. That the queer community wasn't separated into boxes as I previously thought, it was a spectrum. That was my turning point. Although I was, and still am, struggling to accept myself, it was easier with the knowledge I wasn't alone. It wasn't until around 6 months ago that the queer community was first mentioned in my RSHE lessons. I remember how excited I was that everyone in my school would be taught something I had to discover alone. But I quickly lost that enthusiasm. My tutor seemed to have no idea what she was trying to teach, and our worksheets were limited and quite often wrong. It felt like an attempt to tick a box. LGBTQ+ education isn't about box ticking, it's about the young people and showing them they aren't weird or alone. It's about accepting their identity. I didn't feel accepted, and I'm sure they didn't either. That needs to change. Knowledge is empowering, and it's the education system's duty to give that power to its students. 4 years after finding the queer community, I can stand here and say I'm Jess, a 16-year-old non-binary bisexual, but had my education been better, I could have told you that years ago.
According to Stonewall, over half of LGBTQ young people don't feel that there is anyone they can talk to about being queer at school. 2/3 say that their school offers no resources to support them. 40% have never been taught about LGBTQ issues in school, and nearly 65% of trans students are bullied for being trans.
And at the age of 15, when I slipped up to my friends about me being bisexual, I thought I would be bullied and it would have a massive impact on my mental health. This is when I found OTR. I was able to get the support that I needed for my mental health and how I could be honest with people that I'm bisexual, and I'm proud to stand here as a 17-year-old boy and say that I'm bisexual.
Hi all, I am Chloe and this is my art. This piece is about negative experience faced by queer people in social settings. This is based on my own negative experience when I accidentally outed myself in secondary school as a lesbian, which I identified as at the time. Both me and my girlfriend were subjected to threatening and homophobic remarks with no punishment given to those who were saying those things. As an audience of mostly straight people and straight allies, I urge you to look at and learn from this piece and think about what can be done to avoid this negative effect on mental health. We need to be listened to and respected as members of society and as queer people, and this is non-negotiable.
Basically, I wanted to talk about my experience of transphobia and how it's affected my relationships with my friends and my family as well. I tried to come out to him properly because I didn't realize he didn't know I was trans, and then I found out and I was like, okay, right. And so I came out to him and he told me that it was okay, but if his family found out, they would disown him. We came to school one day and he just randomly came up to me and told me, oh, things aren't going to work out because I just can't date you because you're trans. And that was heartbreaking for me because I thought we had a really good thing going. I've had so many other relationships that have been broken because of me coming out as trans. And I was outed to my best friend as trans, and her mother told me that I was demonic and that I was possessed by Satan and that I needed to be cleansed. She was very a devout Christian. I've not let it affect me, and I have hope for the future, and thank you.
I'm here today because the few trans adults I saw as a kid absolutely blew my mind and changed my life. My hope is that no queer kid ever has to deal with what I dealt with, and that I can be proof that you can be queer and happy and make a difference in people's lives. Based on today's discussions, we'd like to ask you to take 5 minutes now and make a pledge. What will you do differently to improve the future of young people who are LGBTQ? And it would be great if you could share this on social media with hashtag #WeThe33.